Alright, hello, welcome along to this mod concept showcase. It's just a short little video, and the first of which that is celebrating the 20th anniversary of Jak II on the channel. So we'll just get right into it. So a few disclaimers. These are very early concepts, and they're not finalized in any way. And also, while I have experience in game dev and programming, I have not yet played with open goal modding, although I'm currently looking through things to do so, right? I was actually playing with the Rebel earlier today and things like that. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Don't know how that got in the back there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so moving on. This is the first mod. This is one I'm very excited about. This one I've daydreamed about a lot over the years. So yeah, these mods are basically what I want to make in the game. They don't necessarily mechanically have to make sense. They're not like you know, they're more like pipe dreams, I guess, if that makes sense, right? Uh, so the first one is the underground labyrinth mod, which I've always thought was a cool idea. Having like a secret underground labyrinth, housing a secret KG project. I haven't quite thought of what this secret KG project is yet, but I know it's going to be heavily guarded, so it's going to have like at the time some of the best KG defenses they had, which were those rolling enemies that you see in Jak 3 and in the War Factory in Jak 2, things like that, bomb bots, all sorts. So it's going to be a bit of a pain to get through, right? It's going to be harder than other Jak 2 levels, which is saying a lot, I think. Um, anyway, you access it through the sewers to start off with, which I haven't played for some reason, and then you unlock doors to get to basically what are checkpoints that so the custom levels they end up going to those areas like those doors in the fortress that you can't open. I think there's plenty of space to explore in the fortress and the palace, and even the underport and those little things in the farms. Now I know that custom levels, there's where the lurkers go into in the farms. So I know that custom levels are quite early on, and it's hard to link things up. But I'm wondering whether it would be possible to have a custom level that sort of links up to an edited version of like the fortress store. Yeah, when you come into the fortress here, I think, right? You come in this way, and you go here to get to the this room. This isn't all the same level, right? This is part B or something like that, and then this is like part D here. So I'm wondering if having a custom version of this that links up to a doorway from that level or something. But anyway, I'm kind of thinking ahead too much there, I think. Um, as I said, disclaimers, these aren't all necessarily complete. They're not really complete in any way, but they're not necessarily all possible either. It's something I should have said. So, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. This is just geez, I should have fixed that up. Sorry. There's some lag when I change slides. Okay. So this is a dumb little concept I put together. It's just like a Jak 3 sort of level with the conveyor belt. Now this is what I mean, right? Like having this secret underground area. Kind of reminds me of like Deep Ground in Final Fantasy VII, if anyone's familiar with that. So, having like the KG textures, the fortress textures and stuff, and conveyor belts and this kind of architecture leading into these like, dungy sort of like sewer areas and stuff like that, like places you wouldn't expect them to link up. And so I think this clash of environment actually showcases like how secret of a project it is, right? You wouldn't normally see these two things linking up. You wouldn't have the KG hanging in the sewers, right? And I think it's just housing some secret project. One of the thoughts I had was what they're doing to Errol, what they did to Errol. Maybe they're doing that to other people, right? Which sounds kind of silly because like they could just do that in the fortress, but I don't know. They're linking. They've got some sort of secret underground sort of robot creation thing, or maybe maybe Vega's doing some crap down here. I don't know, but it doesn't necessarily I suppose have to make sense. I just think this is a cool kind of like level layout, and the part that makes it a labyrinth is that it is really an underground maze of connected like custom levels that would link up, and you sort of have to kind of like unfurl it and figure out what's going on. Anyway, that's that one. I've also got this other one for a difficulty balancing mod. which would be a series of mods released over time. And why that would be is because I'll get into that in a second. So this is trying to fix the very well noted quote unquote difficulty problem that Jak II has, but I'd also like to make one for Jak III on the other scale, making Jak III more difficult. So I like the idea of having this balance either way. Yes, I had that done on purpose. It was meant to have an upside down Dexter face. I forgot to put it in below. Anyway, so all these things would be tweakable in the final version. But yeah, I'd release them in parts if I was going to do this, and I would actually make it so the first one has contextual green eco vents that are added to the game. So what I like about this idea is, in Jak 1 where you walk up and an eco vent replenishes your health, this would work the same way, right? But what I like about this idea is that you have to actually go and like open the power source for the certain area of this event. So let's say there's an event in some sort of area like the temple, like the mountain temple or something. You would have to go find out where that's linked to, and so like you can make the game as easy as you want with this one. That's why I think this is the priority. Part 2 is armor mods, just like what Jak 3 has, but also it has a mod menu that adds, you can aesthetically add armor and also the stats of that armor so that you don't have to necessarily pick your favorite one based on stats. And part 3 would be checkpoints and health pickups, the standard sort of thing, I'd argue. Another mod idea was added zoomers, different kind of zoomers, including the Elite Guard Hellcats, but like other zoomers as well, different varieties that have different stats that don't break and stuff. But I would actually like to, if possible, have like a Lost Frontier level zoomer customization thing, where you can, change your weapon layout, so, you have like a laser or something here maybe, instead of like the standard KG thing, different kind of armor stats and different thrusters, so this way you don't have to choose between the best and you can kind of upgrade it somehow. But also a garage system in one of the stadium places that you don't actually use, like some one of those like doors, where you can actually store your vehicle and then you go in and it just like spawns you outside with the vehicle or something. Yeah, I quite like that idea personally. A more lively city mod. So Jak II City, I think the biggest complaint about it is how, well, the hallways, right? But also the fact there's not much to do. I'd like to add a mod where NPCs have a more robust pathfinding with like a place they're trying to get to. So even if it's like a doorway that doesn't open or something, they at least like disappear in front of it. Kind of, I guess, kind of like those AI videos, like AI SpongeBob and stuff, where they kind of like disappear in front of them. I guess it would look like that, right? To start with, anyway. So tweak 2 would be having driver NPCs that can hop off zoomers, so they can just kind of like park and get off and go to a different state. Again, I think it would start by just kind of looking kind of janky and just having them switch the state, and get better over time. Tweak 3 would be an NPC that has dialogue when you walk past them, and then more NPC skins, right? Different kind of looks and stuff. And then if I can find a way to sort of mold this all together and actually make it look smooth, and, but also a Jak II arena. The only thing about this is it's kind of like Spargus arena, right? You have enemies you fight and whatever, but I don't see much reason to have an arena in Jak II. Like, there's no upgrade systems or anything, but it'd be cool to have like I think more gameplay with the guns, right? And the gun courses are cool, but there's no fighting back or anything. So I guess if you got rewards for it in some way, it'd be cool to have an arena, but I'm not too sure why you would have that at this stage. Maybe there's metalheads that have been captured and you fight them in the arena. I don't know. Anyway, Progressive Legacy Eco Vents in Jak II, we've kind of covered that, so I think I'm just going to skip over that. But for the green eco, but I was just thinking like a mod that exclusively has different types of eco in the vents, which would be kind of interesting, but this would be a different mod from the balancing one. Okay, overhaul mod packs. Now these are what I'd call the big releases. So basically I'd want to make a series of mods that up to this point prepare me to make this big mod pack, which is like their own little stories. They're overhaul mods because, they're completely different kind of games in some ways, right? Which sounds crazy, but like again, I don't think these are necessarily possible mods. It's just more that these are ideas I'd like. So what I like about this idea is that you play as young Samos, and it's this story about, you know, the Baron being overthrowing Deimos rather. And then I've got another one where you play as crew and you let the middle bugs into the city before Dexter starts. And it's sort of crew's like final big scheme, and it leads into his like last act of that scheme in Jak II. And the same with Torn, one for Torn where he enters the KG and then leaves the KG. So yeah, just you know, what I like about these characters is they all have different backstories and different connections, and like for example, I can imagine he would have access to lots of kind of weird places, underground places or connections and stuff. So it'd be cool to like explore different parts of the city. These kind of come from a place of like what I'd want, but also, you know, like if you've seen the Citizen Run mods in the community and stuff, just some of the crazy things that have happened over like 10 years. So these would be long-term kind of goals for sure. Alternate Jak II is another overhaul mod, so it's actually probably a Precursor Legacy mod, I'm not too sure, but basically it's an alternate like universe, right, where Jak and Co stay in center of a village, and you see the events after the middle heads come through the warp gate, but Jak decides not to, and maybe Samos goes through or something to try and complete the time loop. But yeah, something goes horribly wrong, and for some reason Jak and Co stay. Um, and yeah, it uses Jak II assets such as the Dead Town Sandra Village is sort of like a base, but it's a custom map. So like I'd build, you know, the village based off those kind of maps, and it'd be somewhere between those two, where it would be kind of like a bet up haven Sandra Village. But yeah, game overhaul, kind of like a reimagining. Jak would have to get Golem Mai to help defeat the Metalheads because they're powerful and, you know, they're both very dark creatures. Kira creates very early iterations of eco weapons and jet boards and things like that. So it'd be interesting. Jak never gets experimented on with dark eco, so he never uses dark Jak. Rather, the game has a huge focus on light Jak, like he did at the end of Jak 1. The precursors come to help at the end of Act 1, stressing this isn't how things are meant to go, and that's some sort of weird cliffhanger. Yeah, so I don't know. This is just kind of like these are kind of like pipe dream mods, right? And that's sort of like the whole showcase. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of, you know, I'm getting into open goal finally, and I wanted to actually get into some development of mods and things like that. So I'm going to start doing that. And I sat there and I thought, well, I better think about what I'd actually want out of it. And I thought I could make a little video out of it. So yeah, this is my first Jak II video. This is definitely the least interesting one. I've got a very cool one coming up on the 14th, which I think you'll know what it is now. It's a Jak II documentary discussing the whole timeline from development to where we're at today with open goal and all that. So I'm very excited about that one. So I guess I'll see you on the 14th for that. Thanks for watching. That's about it. See ya. See ya.